You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I definitely be seeing you around a whole bunch, but
Yeah.
we ain't never really rapped till a couple months ago. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So I said, fuck it, let's go ahead and do it. We talked about being in the lives. Tell the people about yourself. Where you from? What you got going on?
Yeah, word true. Okay. Josh Caban. I'm originally from Millville, New Jersey, but I live out in Violin, New Jersey now. Work at Next Level Boxing under Mr. Hassan. I mean, alongside Coach Darrell as well. Mr. Hassan been around the game for a long time. You know what I mean? So been under his wing for a couple of years now. Um, Work got a few amateurs. We got good crew going on. Quite a few fighters. As you saw, I had my young boy over there sparring with Chapman this evening. We got
Yeah,
I help him with an undefeated bantamweight we have right now, 4-0, Edwin Cortez. So, we're making some noise. I was a pro fighter back in the day, amateur fighter, obviously, growing up, from Jersey. So, and then over the years, after I stopped fighting pro, took some time off and then got back into the game as a coach now. And so I've been doing that for about like 3-4 years now. And I
yeah,
love it, man. It's been a
real shit.
great journey so far. So, long way to go, too.
All right, for sure. That's for everybody.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
so how old was you when you started boxing?
Oh, bro, I was 10 years old when I first laced up the gloves.
For real?
Yeah, back in the day.
What
Grew
made
up
you
in a,
start going to the gym?
so I always loved boxing. And when I was younger, as I was starting to learn more and more about it, I actually came from like a fighting family. My father was a fighter, uncles, older cousins. So and just
Yeah,
watching boxing, I always loved it. Most kids my age growing up when I was younger, I remember it was in the WWE and WWF. I was like one of the few in class. I just wanted to watch the boxing. Feel me? So I just always loved boxing my whole life. Once I hit about
did
10
you
years
all?
old, what's good?
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I would say once I hit 10, I was able to go to the gym. Been there ever since.
So did you see yourself turning pro one day?
Yeah, I always said I was gonna, turn pro and see where it went. I only had 7 fights. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I got in a little car accident. Kind of messed up my back, so
Mm,
went 5-2. Good little journey, great experience. Been to camp with a bunch of good fighters. Corey Evans, back in the day. That's how I met Bozy back in the day. My manager Jose used to bring me out there to spar.
yeah.
Um, Eric Hunter, Miguel Cartagena, I sparred him. We grew up sparring when we first turned pro. Anthony Bergen, my man's. So, I
Yeah.
was with those guys, Jason Sosa as well, So I sparred a lot of those guys. We came up in that, first few years. So it was pretty fun, though. A little experience I got, I learned a lot, big time. And now I'm teaching to the young fighters,
Yeah. That's what's up, man. How old are you now?
I'm 34.
So I got a question, right?
What's good?
I would imagine you got a family for sure.
Yeah.
How is it being a trainer, being a family man, and putting it all together on a day-to-day basis?
On some real, it's difficult. I ain't gonna lie. Like in terms of time, make sure your time is managed properly. But as long as you manage it properly, it'll be done okay and it'll be well throughout the week. So like, I'm in the gym Monday through Thursday, every day. Fridays and Saturdays, I'm only there if I got sparring, or a fight coming up. So, or unless everyone got a fight coming up and I'll be under there with Hassan. Other than that, Monday through Thursday, right after work, in the gym for a few hours, come right back home. My son's, he come to the gym too, so we spend that time there. Weekends is family time, and so it's tight, but it can be done. It just got me. You just gotta get your sleep in, wake up, and just do what you gotta do on time. That's it.
How much you, how much do you, how much of your brain do you think is being taken up by boxing? Like even when you chilling with your family and you know
It's
what I mean?
it's it's all boxing, bro. It's all boxing. That's all it is. Even if we watching something else, talking about whatever the case be, boxing will somehow come up. Something
Yeah,
about
that's
one of the fighters, or is there a fight tonight? Or oh yeah, you remember what happened? Someone's gonna bring up something. So we always talk
right.
about boxing. But fortunately enough, my wife, she's a boxing fan also. So she appreciates it. So it makes it a little easier.
It helped, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. Big time.
Real shit.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So what is it like for you as a coach when you probably say 3 weeks away, you got a nice fight coming up with the pros. You know what I mean? What is your mental like when you getting ready for a fight?
So like when Edwin's got, so that's the pro we working with, right? So I use him as an example. When he got the fights coming up, closer we get to the fight, the more locked in I'm in also. because you know
Yeah.
reflects on us as well. And he fighting in there by himself in the ring, but in true like spiritual warfare, we all together. You know what I mean? It's a team sport. So we all I'm locked in tight. Um, Sometimes I catch myself even dieting just like him. When he's cutting weight, I'll be like eating the same niggas in my mind, and he got it. I'm talking to him about it. So sometimes throughout the week, I'm just doing the same things he's doing routine wise with the diet, but focusing. Uh, like if I got the fight coming up for myself, what I mean, I'm focusing more on the opponent, where he's at, where with his skill and conditioning at the moment. So I'm just real tight. If he's mentally in it, I'm mentally in it.
Real shit. So who was some of your fighters that inspired you to start boxing? That made you love the sport?
Where so my two favorite fighters growing up when I was little was Tito Trinidad
Yeah.
and by far, I mean Puerto Rican. He was the man at the time, so great fighter. And on some real Vander Holyfield.
Mm.
I'll never forget. And
So
it was actually be on some real. It might have been Holyfield before Tito,
right.
because what happened was when I was little, I was born in '89. So when I was able, like, I like realize who was who, whatever. I'm trying to watch the Tyson and Holyfield fights, but I
Yeah.
struggled to stay up because I was a little kid. But
Right.
I always try my best. I remember I was trying to stay up, watch them fights, knocked out on the couch, but just trying to stay up and watch the heavyweight fights because it was so big at the time. And I
Yeah.
thought it was like the greatest thing. Tyson, Holyfield, all them knockout fights and shit. It was good stuff. And then Tito came along, so those were the two fighters that really like I loved watching as a little young boy.
No, that's good shit. Right now in the game, who your favorite right now?
It's hard to say. I don't really have a favorite per se. I like a few guys. It's a lot of great fighters right now. A lot of great fights going on. I like Tank. Um, I like Wilder still. It's a lot of guys. I still like watching Danny. I still root for Danny when he got a big fight coming up.
Yeah.
Um, Shakur is a great fighter. I like Tyson Fury is a great fighter. I like a lot of guys. Just a lot of great fighters. But to say a favorite right now, I don't really have them. But I kind of like Tank. If I'm gonna have to, if it's one fighter, I always want to make sure I'm watching. It's gonna be Tank right now. His excitement
Yeah.
and everything that's going on.
I mean, if Tank got in the ring with Shakur right now, how you see that fighting?
If they fought right now,
Yeah.
I would lean. I would lean towards Tank. The experience in the bigger stage. He's a little thicker, a little heavier, a little more seasoned, a little more polished right now. I like Shakur. He's got all the goods as well. Maybe another year or two, he might be the favorite, depending on how they look.
Yeah.
But at the moment, if they fought right now, I'm gonna lean towards Tank.
I ain't mad at that. What
Hmm.
is it? What is it like coaching out of Jersey, but having not having to, but being able to come to Philly and get work, or be in the tournaments and shit like that? What's that like?
Um, it's great, bro, because it's like a great challenge. Because we all know Philly's like a mecca of boxing in the whole world, let alone, you know what I mean. So in Jersey, over the past century, obviously ain't as big as Philly. So when we go to Philly, I tell a lot of people when we cross that bridge and we come over, it's like really testing ourselves. Whether
Yeah,
it's sparring, the real fights, amateur fights, pro fights. So it's a great experience. It's tough and it really shows where we're at. So it's like a good challenge because I mean, like I said, Philly's a mecca.
yeah, that's good shit. A lot of people. I asked that question because a lot of people don't come across the bridge.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's. I mean, part of the pride thing. Like, if you could fight, go to where the best fighters are. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like prove
real
yourself.
shit. Yeah, that's real shit. The rematch between Bud Crawford, Earl Spence. Do you want to see it? And how does it go?
I would like to see it. Do I want to see it next? Probably not. But I would watch. Obviously, I would watch it if it happens or when it happens. If it happens next, even at 54, like if it happens in a few months, like they was talking, I don't think Spence has recovered, has enough time to recover from that fight. You know what I mean? And not even just the
Yeah,
fight, like the whole training mode, like to get back at the top of the mountain physically after what you just took. That's too quick. He needs about a year in between, maybe a fight in between, obviously, and then we'll see.
get his mind right.
Yeah, you gotta get everything right physically, mentally. It can happen. It has happened in the past in history. Like great fighters took a bad L, came back and beat the guy that beat him like that, but it's rare.
Yeah,
But I mean, anything's possible. But if they fought like how it was talking in a few months, Crawford gonna do him bad again.
yeah. We talk about this a lot. 140 is a deep division.
Hmm.
With all those names, all those guys in the division, who you think could be at the top? Who could be the number one guy at 140?
True, it's deep right now. Them 35 pounders moved up. A couple stayed at 140, great like Regis, Josh Taylor for a moment. But right, I think as what it is right now, the top guys right there, it could probably come down to Teal and probably Devin in the next year or so.
Tio and Dev.
It could be. There's a couple dark horses though.
Who you
Uh,
like?
my people be sleeping on not people people in general be sleeping on Sabril Matthias.
Mm,
He a dark horse. Regis and Devin gonna be a good one, so that's gonna be a big decider depending on how that goes, the outcome of it. But Teal looking strong. Had a great performance against Taylor. Um, so we'll see. It's gonna be interesting this next year to come at 140.
yeah, I ain't mad at that. Do you study coaches?
Oh yeah, all the time,
Who's
all
some
the
of your
time.
favorite coaches to study?
In terms of like when I go through the history or studying them, I study them all the great ones. Got Lewis, all the famed ones, obviously Angelo Dundee, Emmanuel Stewart. You know what I mean, the professor I called him, as many called him, Eddie Fudge, um, Angel. I mean, just the name, all the great ones, all the ones that you've seen, the famed ones. But in terms of the non-famed ones coming up, or the ones right there that put in a lot of work as well. Chino, as well, I knew Chino for a long time. Watched and studied him. Um, Bozy, watched him for years. Always listen to what he says. I mean, when I've been to the gym, listen to him, watch him. Mr. Hassan, I mean, the man I'm on there as well. So just a little bit of everyone. Every great trainer that's been on any platform at all, any level, I've watched and listened to him and see, what I mean, Freddie Roach, another one, names like that, Nacho Beristain. And even far back, some of the great trainers like Blackburn that trained Joe Louis back in the day. I remember watching something
Mm,
on him, studying that too. So
yeah,
I mean, all of them, all the greats, all the best, and all the ones that are coming up with top fighters that they groomed out of the amateurs. I mean,
yeah,
the teachers of the sport, more say.
yeah. I like that for sure. Got to keep up with the game.
Mm-hmm.
What? So, what was the difference between you fighting amateur and turning pro that you learned the most, like about the game once you turn pro?
Once I turned pro, in terms of like the difference between amateur and pro, or more so just in general with professional fighting, um, it's crazy. Depending on how you look at it, it's like amateur to me was always like a great sport. It's like pro fighting is on a whole different like atmosphere of competitive nature. It's not even like a sport no more. It's like it's a sport, but it's like a brutal battle. You know what I mean? Combat. It's a
Mm,
totally different mindset. You know what I mean? Amateurs to me, like I said, is a great sport. It's a great fighting sport. Professional fighting is something else. It's something different. Um,
yeah,
the mindset of it, the condition, like the
yeah,
true, like you can't cheat outside the gym 100%. It'll show in the ring. A
yeah,
lot of things I learned from myself, from a lot of negatives I did as well. You know what I mean? I learned I could teach that to the youth or what you really need to do to make it in this type of sport, in this fighting level, professional. Excuse me. A lot of stuff mentally, like just saying, focus, mental fortitude. Don't cheat.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Outside of the gym, do the right things. Go to sleep. Wake up early. Go for your jog. Eat right. Um, focus in on boxing. When you turn pro, you gotta be 100% boxing, especially in the beginning. You can't have anything else. You can't be distracted.
yeah.
It'll show in the ring. You know what I mean, and pro and amateur, you gotta be like that too. But it's just different as a pro.
I try to talk to people about being a fighter a lot in the gyms because a lot of times some of the fighters will slip up or people will come off the street and they just think boxing is like I can sign up, I'm gonna learn how to throw a few punches, and I should be ready to fight. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Explain to people like really what it's like to really be, you know what I mean, a fighter and where your mindset is when you're getting ready for a fight.
it's crazy. It's as you know, you've been in the gyms your whole life. Um, it's always a lot of people every year that think that they can just come in, lace it up. I mean, because they could fight in the street. They had a couple of W's at school or whatever. You know what I mean? They can just come in the gym and hold it down the ring. It's totally different. Mental fortitude, you got to understand what's coming at you. Learn how to fight up in that matrix zone, I call it. I mean, everything in front of you, be comfortable. People that come off the streets, they just swinging haymakers half the time. Even though they stand in front of you, they're just swinging. They don't really understand what's coming at them. They're not seeing what's coming at them. They're just swinging in hopes that they land. So now when you're
Yeah,
in the actual prize fight where it's being scored and people watching, there's a time. It ain't gonna be 2 seconds. You get hit, clip. That's the fight. You gonna. I mean, it's a time frame going on, a few minutes. So you gotta be able to dip that, understand that, train. It takes time, that muscle memory to develop, and that's what I mean. You gotta put so many years in the amateurs. You don't get that off the streets. You don't get that in just a month or two. It takes time to develop that skill and, like I said, muscle memory.
yeah. Do you remember the first time you was challenged with getting ready for a fight and having to ignore a female?
Oh man, all the time, especially in the pros, bro.
What
It just
was
always
that
happens.
like though for you?
No, it was fine though because on some real, like, as when I turned pro, though, I was with my wife in the beginning. You know what I mean, so it was all good. I had her there, but like
Yeah,
it was still the temptation there. But I just fought through that shit. I mean, like, and amateurs as well as there too. When you the man in high school, it's gonna be all thrown all up on you as well. But
yeah,
I always handled that well. You know what I mean, once I'm in that ring, it was once I was in the gym, it was a different mindset. Once I
yeah.
was in the ring, it was different. The women always gonna be there. So it is a distraction. I mean, we know. But when that bell
Yeah,
rings, they ain't gonna be in there fighting with you, so you gotta hold it down.
real shit. Now, when you get a fighter ready, is it tough trying to keep them on track? You know what I mean? Trying to keep them together, get them ready, mentally prepared for the fight.
Is it hard?
Yeah,
It depends. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not, depending on the fighter. You know what I mean? Sometimes
right.
you got like with the amateurs. So I got you got amateurs that they got them butterflies before the fight. You gotta install them to you know get that dog out of them. Understand it's gonna be all right, bro. You good. You've done this more than once. We're gonna be all right. You know, you gotta get that in their head. Some you already know they tough as nails, so you just gotta keep them calm so they don't burn up energy before the fight. Some they tough as hell. They not scared, but they can't hold their composure. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
someone across the ring talk some shit or something dirty or something, they just lose their mind. So you got to know how to control. If you know that, you got to know that before they get in the ring. You got to know how to control them before, during, and after. You know what I mean, so every fighter's different, but yeah, it could be tough at times.
for sure. I try to explain that as well too. Like a lot of people think they gonna get in there, like you said, they gonna handle it like a street fight. I'm gonna get out there and swing. But like I notice when it's time to be under the clock, you never know what you're gonna get out of a guy.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
I seen some crazy shit at fights. I seen some crazy shit working the corner. You know what I mean? What's the craziest shit you seen a fighter do? You know what I mean, after being prepared for the fight and you thinking he cool, but or you may have just seen at the fight.
Man, I've seen it all. I've seen from amateurs and pros. I watched people fight and then they arguing and swinging after the fight. I remember my pro debut. It was in actually Allentown, and
Yeah.
it was the main event. Something happened. I can't remember if it was like it was a controversial decision or either whatever happened. The two camps was talking smack. They had beef from before the fight. Then they started swinging. The security started swinging. The whole outrage just broke out in the whole fight, in the whole little area. You know what I mean? So I've
Yeah,
seen it all. Uh, Even in sparring sometimes.
yeah.
I mean, get heated. People want to fight it, take it to the street. You know what I mean? They just talk that smack, but it's a macho fight. It's a macho type sport. So emotions get the best sometimes.
Boo Boo Andre versus David Benavidez.
It's gonna be a good fight. Boo was a good fighter as well. He's been around, got a lot of experience. But right now, Benavidez is gonna be too much for him. I think it's gonna be a good test. It's gonna take because Benavidez hasn't fought him on that type of style, that good at least. Southpaw, fast, little slick, experience. But Benavidez' size, the amount of punches he throws, mean intentions, his will, he'll get the job done. I don't think he'll stop Boo Boo, but it'll be like plant fight. First half will be a little tough for a couple rounds or depending, and then after in the second half, Benavidez widens the gap big time.
You think so? Like you say, you think it's just too much for Boo Boo at this point.
At this point, this age, this weight class, yeah, I think so. But Boo Boo, like I said, he'll give him a good test for the first few rounds. Then Benavidez, like I said, in the second half will start to widen the gap big time. I think he'll put a whooping on the last 3-4 rounds.
North Pole Fisher has a question: is there any other sports slash activities you guys do to prepare?
Do to prepare for the fight.
Yeah,
What's crazy is So we got a coach Daryl, another coach in my gym. His his sons, they're a little older now, but they were like great track and field collegiate athletes as well, even at a good level. And so we take them to the track. I mean, it's not just road work. Sometimes these guys get show to some type of relay races, etc. That the teams would do, compete with each other, build up their explosive speed. What's crazy is a lot of times I'll bring the young boys fishing. I got like all the young boys, the ones between like around my son's age, 10 to 14. I
Yeah,
gather them up in the summertime. We take them fishing, let them exfoliate their mind and control and just relax out there in nature. And I mean, it'll really help them out. I
yeah,
think
that's a
it'll
good
clean
one.
them out.
I think that's a good one to work on patience.
Mm-hmm. It really would, yeah, definitely.
I like now me myself. I'm just answering the question. Me myself, I like for fighters to dance, man. Learn how to dance.
Yeah, that's
Cause
true. Hell yeah.
you learn how to dance, you learn how to control your body. You learn how to control your body, you can learn how to control the ring. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's how I feel.
No, that's real
Um,
tough.
so if this fight was to ever happen, Beterbiev versus Bivol.
If it ever happens, hopefully it happens sooner than later. Obviously, I mean, while they fresh. I was actually talking about that the other day too, man. In the gym. That's a great fight. Uh, a good fight. I see Bivol winning that fight by decision.
Mm,
As long as he stays disciplined and focused, because he gonna get caught at some point, and he may get a little stunned. But if he can weather them storms in between, I think he'll be successful. I think he'll win by decision.
yeah, that's a great fight.
It is a good fight. I hope it happens. I mean,
Devin Haney, Regis Prograis.
it's gonna be a good fight. I like Prograis. Always been a fan, but I think at this point, I think Devin outboxes him. I think Devin, his style is a little difficult for anyone. Tall, long, patient, um, can box. But anything can happen. We've seen in the last fight. We've seen a couple fights. And I get clipped a little bit, a little chinny sometimes.
Yeah,
Um, and Prograis, we know he can crack. But I think the moving up at 140, the extra few pounds, I think that's going to help him with his stamina, his energy, be able to take the shots a little better. He's not sucking down and weight so much.
yeah,
But I got Devin by decision.
yeah. I ain't mad at that. I kind of think that fight gonna go that way too. I think from what I saw from Regis Prograis his last fight, I mean he could make adjustments, but I just think his feet is too slow, and I
Yeah.
think he too wild to beat Haney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
if he hit Haney with a good shot, it'd probably be one good shot, and I don't think it'd be a bunch of shots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I agree with that. I think if because I could see him catching Devin at some point midway through the fight, maybe around 8 later in the later parts, kind of like a JoJo Diaz scenario. He got clipped a little stunned, but not really nothing major.
Yeah,
Um, but again, anything can happen. But I think just Devin right now beats him by the and based off the last fight program, you can kind of see it come. That style is not well for suited well from, and the Devin's on a higher level than Regis' last opponent.
yeah. Who your favorite? Not favorite, but who do you think is the best top five fighters in the game, any weight class right now?
Any weight class right now, I got Terrence number one. I mean, just off the top of my head, top five: Terrence, uh, Canelo, Inoue. That's three. Tyson Fury four, and number
Mm,
five is a tough one. Um, Off the top of my head, I'll probably give it to Javante just off the fame. There's a lot of great fighters around there though, but I'm looking at it from all aspects. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
But that's
mean,
off the top of my head.
do you think seeing that he hasn't been in there with the exact elite fighters, do you think his power is real though?
Tank?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. He got me good out. It's crazy. When my man's fought him back a few years back, when Javante had like 5 fights or so, and
yeah,
my man's fought him in Connecticut, and like I said, Javante was like 4-0 or something like that. And we asked him afterwards. We said, "Yo, is it like this?" He said, "Yeah, that boy can crack. Like
mm,
his body shot stopped the fight
yeah,
at days." But yeah, he got that power. And I think he's a great boxer too. I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for in terms of his skill, in terms of actual boxing. I think Javante's a master boxer. I think he moves around that ring great. He takes his time. He sees the openings. He's seizing you up. People think
Yeah,
he's just a lucky shot or he just taking his time. If you get tired, nah, he know what he's doing. He moving really nice in that ring.
yeah, that's true. What do you think for the guys who want to be trainers? What do you think the process should be? Because in boxing, all you gotta do is fill out an application, and
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
like you a
especially today's
coach.
world.
You know what I mean? People don't understand the shit we've been through alone, just being in the game, being being fighters, and then transitioning to coach. So, what do you think some of the experience a trainer should go through to be a trainer?
I think, and this is a big thing now. A lot of people today train. I call it it's a lot of trainers with just GEDs. I call it sometimes. You know what I mean? They ain't finished school. They ain't go to the college. Whatever. Like I think for someone to really know the game in and out, they had to have experience in the amateurs. Um, I say to an extent as a pro because I do know a lot of great trainers that weren't. They never actually fought at pro level, but they had a lot of years in the amateurs. But I think pro, I don't want to say you definitely need it, but you got to have something in that field as in pro. So to get that feel mentally for a fighter when you can see it, so you can sense it. But I definitely think to be a trainer, you got to take your first few years starting in the game and be under someone that knows what they're doing. Obviously, had the years, etc. An older person, someone that's been in the game, been around, that can show you things.
Hmm.
Um, and just be willing to learn too. Like not just have one guy. Another great trainer, move around, travel around, listen, just pay attention. Um, just to be a good trainer. You feel me? Let alone a great trainer. It takes that time. I think you just got to all put it together, and eventually it'll come.
Shit. I asked that question because there's a lot of guys who they jump in the sport, and not saying they don't educate themselves, but in the beginning they think it's just gonna be easy. And you know what I mean, I'm gonna train this kid right here, he gonna be champion. And then they had to learn a lot about, you know what I mean, just the whole experience, like in itself. Like it's not what you think. You're not gonna get the sparring that you want all the time. You're not
Hmm.
gonna get, you know what I mean, you're not gonna get the fights you want. You're not gonna be able to. It's just not that happen. It's just not that easy to happen when it's going through another person, especially for somebody who's, like you said, never did it and think that they can do it but never did it, and then now you're trying to get somebody else to do it.
Yeah,
Like this shit is insane. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's crazy.
And I also asked that question because I found myself telling a lot of fathers, like, yo, he a kid. Like I seen so many kids in boxing that you swore was gonna be champion, and then when they got old enough to buy a car or get a license or whatever, they was done. They was like, I'm done with this shit.
Hmm.
I don't even want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's a tough sport, and people want to think that it's easy. It's not easy at all. You know what I
not even
mean?
close.
I
Yeah.
don't like I don't like to discourage people, but at the same time, I got to be real with you.
Hmm. No,
It's
hundred
not what you
percent.
think.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like and it's crazy compared to other sports. Like when you sit there and think about it, and people just think about it in general, football, baseball, bat, whatever. Right, all the major sports. We know 90% of the athletes they're not gonna make it in the pros. It's that hard. You know what I mean? Boxing's a little different, so they think because you don't got to go to the same type of process for the other sports to turn pro that it's
Yeah,
simple. And a lot of times they pride kick in like, oh, I could fight. I want a few street fights, or a man thinks I could fight. You know what I mean? So my son can fight, and we just going to put him in there and just start winning fights because we know we can fight. You know what I mean? Like, nah, this is different, bro. It's not. This is a different world. You got to go through
yeah,
a process again. I mean, like I was saying earlier, you got to go through that process to get it all down in peck. And if you ain't never done nothing before in the past, you see that a lot today too. A lot of father-son relationships. A lot of fathers that ain't never boxed, but they want to do it because there was a fan, and they got macho pride. They think, "Well, I can fight. I want to fight a couple fights. I like the game. I'll teach my son how to fight." And it's like, bro, you ain't never do it before. You ain't never laced no gloves. So how you gonna show him how to box? How you gonna? This is different. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's difficult too seeing that stuff. And I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of guys too that's been the same. I've dealt with men that want me to train their sons, but they want to be in the picture and never trained before in their life.
yeah.
It's like,
Every
damn,
day.
bro, like you making it you making it hard because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, every day I gotta see that shit.
Hmm.
What fight do you want to see this year or happen,
This year to come, or like we talking about the next 2
or
months.
just for a fight to happen?
Just
Any
in
fight.
general, I like to see. There's a lot of fights be made. A lot of good fights. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd love to see Gervonta and Shakur fight right now. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? Or one of them fight Devin, and vice versa. Um,
Mhm.
what I would like to see also another great fight as a hardcore fan though is Terrence and Boots at the moment.
Mm.
Not since we all know Crawford is at the top of the mountain. Um, we also know Father Time is undefeated, so the longer we wait, and I mean, we don't know what might happen. So, but we know Terrence is the man right now, and those of us that know Boots is the man too.
Yeah.
So, I think it's only one guy that could probably beat Crawford, and that's Boots at the moment right now, welterweight.
What do you think if they fought right now? How you think that
It,
fight go?
it'd be a difficult fight for both. Hard, that's like 50-50. Right now, they fought right now. I like Boots. But he ain't never been in there with someone like Crawford. That experience Crawford is seasoned to the top now. I mean, he just got a Hall of Fame legacy already.
Yeah.
Um, and not just winning, he's like dominated. You know what I mean? So he's a great fighter, but fighting Boots would be like the closest thing to fighting himself in terms of
Mm.
reflexes, speed, just special talent, um, will, power, everything. Mental, like no one breaks Crawford mentally, and ain't no one breaking Boots either mentally. So it's like that's the good one right there. For the
Yeah.
hardcore fans, for us that know, that's the fight.
That'd be a crazy fight.
Hmm.
I'll definitely make sure I'm tuned into that.
Oh yeah, but that's no doubt about it. Pay per view, who not gonna watch that? But there's a lot of big fights to be made though, man. I mean, like Crawford Benavides. I mean, not Crawford, Canelo Benavides, another one. I want to see that
Yeah.
too. I would love to see that right now. That they both Canelo still got it based on what I just saw. We know Benavides, his style. That's a great fight, clash fight. That's a classic fight.
Yeah. You ain't lying about that. I hope Canelo give you the opportunity. And I mean, if everything go right with Boo Boo Andre, I hope that he do give him the opportunity though.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. That's a tough one. He got options. Canelo can fight anyone, and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
you know what I mean, and make hella money. He could fight. He could fight. He could fight my neighbor. People gonna tune in and watch the fight.
Real shit. Well, so
Hmm.
what you think about that though in the game? Like how a guy can reach a certain level and you just fight anybody.
It's crazy. It's like depends how I look at it. Sometimes I look at it like from a fan's perspective, a hardcore fan. It's like, damn. I mean, we want to see certain fights right now, but then
Right.
like the experience I gained off of boxing, knowing how things work, knowing what you had to do to get there. Though it's like, and when you take it to another level in terms of like the business aspect of it, it's like I understand. You feel me? Like it's a business at the end of the day, and you gotta be smart about it. I mean, your career in general, and the longer you last, the more money you make. Also, um, so you do it the right way, take the right fights at the right time, in between for the right business money, and it'll work out at the end. All them big fights that are meant to be, they happen. Sometimes a little later than we want, but they end up happening though. And for the
Yeah.
fighter to make hella bread.
Yeah. You ain't lying about that. The game is crazy right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. A lot of fighters today got more knowledge in the business part of it. They manage themselves, promote themselves, so they make more money themselves. But then the fights we want at the certain times don't happen as much. You know what I mean? Um, Again, like if it wasn't for the political divide, Shakur, Tank right now, Devin, them guys right now, Teofimo, them guys right now. You know what I mean?
I was gonna
Well,
ask you, what do you think about that? Like big guys being signed to different promoters and guys trying to be their own promoters and sometimes it stalls the fights. Do you feel like it's getting in the way?
yes and no. Again, like because I think like as the fans' perspectives, we want to see them fights. But sometimes when them fights take a little while to marinate, at the end of the day, we get the two best though at the end though also. So maybe sometimes we don't get all the fights we want of all these fighters in the prime. But when it's all said and done, the last two at the end, like a Spence Crawford,
Yeah,
you get the last two at the end. It's like, damn, we didn't get some of these big fights in between, but at the end, we're gonna get the real big one. That's from a fan's perspective. So it's like, well, at least we get that, and then, and that was really the big one. We want to see who's gonna be the last two standing.
yeah,
Sometimes again, we don't get the three big ones in between, but we're gonna get them that last big one though, and then fighters make the most out of that too.
yeah. I ain't mad at that. Who's a fighter that you would love to train?
Like a starfighter,
I mean, anybody.
anyone right now? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I anyone. Tank. That'd be interesting to work with him. Shit, you can imagine me working with Tyson Fury. That'd be amazing. That'd be unbelievable. So I'm only like 5'5". You know that boy, that man's 6'9". It'd be interesting though. Um,
Tyson Fury.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I never really thought about that, but that'd be an interesting question. Any star, you know what I mean, just to gain that experience, also getting something off of them, learning
Yeah,
something as well. Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting. And just even with the kids, the amateurs, man, love working with them because it helps them out, obviously, but it helps myself out also too.
yeah.
Stay sharp,
Do
and
you do you enjoy working with the amateurs or the pros more?
it's like 50-50, about the same, bro. I like it all. From little kids to pros to little fighters to big fighters to old people that just want to train in the gym.
Yeah,
It's all. I love it all the same for different reasons, but I love it all the same. I love, like I said, I love training the amateurs. Getting them all groomed up properly. That experience they never going to forget.
yeah.
And I'm never going to forget as well. And then with the pros, the same thing. I mean, so it's about the same. It's 50-50. I like both.
I be feeling like that at times, but then I love the pros. I ain't
Yeah, the
gonna lie.
pros. I know that's the pros though. Who is
The
that's what I mean?
atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere, just being there, the drama of the fight. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the
It's all.
challenge of getting ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that's when you get in a fight already. Do you are you paying attention to who's in his corner, who he has around him, things like that?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely, 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got people that know that they know what they're doing in that corner. Then you should expect like this fighter to be prepared. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Especially if they're known to have brought other fighters along the way as well. You got people who don't really know; they really just there. You got to be a little more confident. You know what I mean? Because you know your IQ is a little higher in that corner. You know what you have trained for. Your game plan is on a different level right now.
yeah. No, I feel that. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that feeling. But
Mm-hmm.
then I remember like not giving a fuck. I'm like, man, fuck that.
Yeah, you gotta have that also in you. You can't be given for you do. That's true. You gotta take that risk anyway. So fuck it.
Yeah, we already had.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I appreciate you coming on.
Nah, no
I
doubt,
know
bro. I appreciate it too.
it's definitely getting late. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm slowly breaking down.
That's all good. I see it, bro. I mean, you had
Let
been
them
on using that gym for a minute earlier.
let them know where they can reach you on the social medias and all that, if you don't
Uh,
mind.
yeah, no doubt, bro. All right, at the moment, just regular social media, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me at Caban, CABAN.J, and Josh Caban on Facebook.
Appreciate you, bro.
And I appreciate you, bro. You know what I mean? Love seeing you.
All
We
right.
gotta chop it up again.
For sure, definitely.
Definitely, bro.
Thank you.
All right, bro.